Well, US President Donald Trump's approval ratings have hit historic lows, showing support from around 1/3 of Americans as the war in Iran and rising fuel prices take a political toll. Midterm elections are 3 months away, causing concerns for the Republican Party. For more on this, I'm joined by Jared Mondschein, Director of Research at the United States Studies Centre. Good afternoon to you, Jared. Thanks for your time.
Happy to be here.
So what picture is emerging from these most recent polls?
Donald Trump is once again setting records and being remarkable, but in this sense, it's only been in the negative way, in that he is hitting his lowest approval ratings of his entire second term of office. He's actually hitting the lowest approval rating of any U.S. president in his second term of office, except for one president, and that was Richard Nixon. And that was only days before he was to resign because of the Watergate scandal. So he is exceedingly low in the around mid-30s. He also is losing ever more support amongst Republicans. And that's what's really remarkable to me, because in many ways they have been glued to him and supportive of all his policies, regardless of what direction they were. And we're seeing record low approval ratings amongst Republicans, equaling some of the ratings we saw after January 6, 2021. And so I imagine he is quite frustrated and also probably keen to change the topic that everyone is talking about.
Just on the numbers, though, if you were to believe the president, he says his numbers have never been higher. What or who are the American people believing?
I don't think the American people are really tuning into those sorts of Truth Social posts. I think at the end of the day, the issue at hand is this very issue that got him into the office in the first place, or back in, and that's affordability. And on that issue, a majority of Americans think he is not doing enough, think he is making things worse. And even amongst MAGA Republicans, a majority of them say that gas prices have increased under President Trump because of the Iran war. So even his own supporters are saying that he is causing their affordability challenges to actually get worse.
So barely 1/3 of Americans approve of Mr. Trump's handling of the job. Do you expect there to be any change of direction ahead of the midterms?
It's not clear to me that he is really all that concerned about the midterms more than anything else. He seems to be prioritizing Republican loyalty more than the midterms. In many ways, it appears that he views the midterms as a foregone conclusion, and they often are. Most U.S. presidents lose control of Congress in their midterms. He's not unique in that, but the question is just how much does he lose? Does he lose the House of Representatives and the Senate? That would be quite a seismic change, especially compared to the last midterm elections, in which the Democrats actually gained a seat in the Senate under Joe Biden. So I imagine he is someone who is trying to change the channel, change the topic, and have folks focus on anything else, but it's pretty hard.
In any other time, Jared, would you expect the White House to respond to these sorts of numbers differently? You know, would you see people being sacked? Would you expect to see a change of course in direction?
Yes. Yeah, in so many ways. You would expect in a conventional presidency, the president would go out on the campaign trail and try to really energize their voters, try to focus on other topics, or you could even see the president sometimes going overseas to get some wins there that could be portrayed as improving the affordability crisis back at home. But this is a president who's not known for really being willing to change his talking points. You can see even in his prepared remarks, which his speechwriters have worked with a committee ostensibly to get approval for, he likes to veer off course and make his own talking points and talk about what he usually talks about, which is what you could see at a rally in the same way that you could see with a press conference with a foreign head of state. He does not want to talk about affordability in any other way besides saying that he thinks his administration has done more than any other before. So I don't think that his staff in the White House really view him as someone willing to change his talking points anytime soon.
Just how rattled are the Republicans? You mentioned before, you know, he might be losing some support within his own, but how strong is the glue?
That's the question everyone is asking. This is the point in the calendar that everyone was pointing at, wondering just when are they going to start to show more robust pushback against the president? Because as has been many have discussed, the Donald Trump has had a unique appeal and grasp of Republican voters. But as I said, those numbers are decreasing. We are seeing Republican members of Congress going to pursue their own self-interest, and that is winning re-election and distancing themselves from a president who has an approval rating in the 30s. No one really wants to campaign with a president like that unless you are in a district that has that is majority Republican and majority high on the president. In a lot of Republican districts, including those in more agriculture, farming areas, or trade-exposed areas, are really not high on the president right now.